Hey YouTube, my name is Gawd, and you're watching Gawd Cafe. Today's video is on Venus in the 12th house, okay? So if your Venus is in the 12th house, or your Venus is in the sign of Pisces, this video is for you. Also understand that Venus does amazing in this house, okay? So Venus is originally exalted in Pisces. So with that said, the 12th house is the house of Pisces. So when you place Venus in the house of Pisces, Venus loves it here. You know, Venus truly loves it here. However, Venus can also be extremely sensitive in this house, okay? So that's something also to consider, because that's probably the aspect of the opposite fish of not enjoying this placement, is being, you know, hypersensitive. So, and what it comes with it, you know, just being taxed so easily and emotionally, you know, being taxed energetically and emotionally, okay? So that can come into this sort of placement, but for the most part, Venus does amazing here. Venus is very intuitive here. Let's break down what Venus represents first, for those of you that don't know. So Venus is the planet of love. Venus is also the planet of beauty. Venus is the ruler over Taurus and Libra energy. Okay, so Taurus and Libra is ruled by Venus. So when you place this in the 12th house, the 12th house of Pisces, of the void, the unconscious, all things unseen, other worlds, you know, the exaltation here is the understanding, and the heightened understanding is how that manifests in this house, because it's not exactly quite the actual, you know, planet in the sign of Pisces, but it does operate pretty much the same, except the theme is Pisces while Venus is navigating, if that makes a little bit more sense. And if that doesn't, just think about it being the same placement but backwards. So another layer to what placement you have is the house that it's in. So you need to be aware of what house that you have your planets in, because that's an extra layer to the energy. For example, like I said, if you have Venus, let's say you have Venus in Cancer, right? You know everything there is about Venus in Cancer, but you don't know what a Venus in Cancer in the 12th house entails. So you would let yourself, you know, fathom the extra layer and understand that the house represents the sort of kind of like the theme in that area of your life. So, for example, if you have, you know, Venus in the 12th house, to understand that what the 12th house is, and then understanding that you have Venus there would, you know, can help you understand a lot of things that you've been through, can help you understand, you know, just the individual that you are overall. Because you're so sensitive to energy and emotions, you can literally embody and feel what other people feel on an empathetic level like no one else. Okay, so this one is like the healer. This one is the individual that should indulge in creativity, because the creativity that you indulge in is healing to the world. So this is that placement, okay? That's the exaltation here, is that the access to the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual healing that you can offer, the intuitive insights that you gain in this life needs to be put into use and shared, right? However, with this placement, it can feel overwhelming to maybe perhaps be a public figure, but you have the talents that a public figure would have. And so it's conflicting for you, perhaps. So, because the 12th house is like things hidden, almost like Scorpio, but it's like the unseen, so it's not even hidden. It's like you don't even know it's hiding. It's kind of like in the crack. Okay, so Scorpio is that like, why is that? What's under that rug there? Where'd that rug come from? That rug is, sneaky, but I didn't remember buying that rug. What's under that rug? And then you see like money under the rug. Like Scorpio. That's Scorpio, right? So Pisces would be the money like just falling into the crack between your dresser and bed. You don't even see it, but it's there. And it's not obvious. You have to kind of like go looking for it. Or, like navigate to see if you, like kind of like finding treasure. Okay, so it's not something you can easily sense, the 12th house. So if you're not a native of the 12th house, it's going to be very difficult to understand what it is that I'm saying. But if you have a loved one that has 12th house placements and you're trying to understand them more, just understand that they need their isolation so that they can charge their energy. And also, like, because it may not be you that affects them, it could just be an abundance of energy that overwhelms the Venus in 12th house, because isolation is very much so needed, because not only are they entertaining, or you guys are entertaining the spiritual realm and the void and everything that doesn't exist and bringing it here. So that's what's also happening in your creativity. You're able to access these otherworldly realms because it's Pisces, Neptune. You're able to access these other realms that make you feel good, right? And it's a level of escapism, because that's also the 12th house, escaping. So you love to escape, right? And if you think about the arts, it's all escapism so that we can cope with our current, emotional state. That's why we as humans love the arts, because it's a coping mechanism in a way. It's a for lack of vocabulary, it just makes things just a better distraction. It's a good distraction. Okay, so that's what the arts, resemble. And so whether you want to be at the forefront of displaying your art is on you. You can create an avatar that no one needs to know who's behind. It could be, an AI caricature that you created, right? It could be a doll. It could be a toy. And you could play with what it is that you want to do aesthetically, visually, if you're not comfortable being at the forefront. Because this also, you would think someone who's not comfortable being in the forefront should manage someone who would be. However, this placement, it could be a little tricky if you don't have Capricorn or Earth energy in your chart, because you're so sensitive to energy that, like, if you have Earth in this house, you may know how to come into balance and manage others and yourself, okay? But if you do not, don't be hard on yourself, because it's not within your energy, so you can't be mad at yourself. You'll know if it's innate, but sometimes you just kind of have to just accept where you're at energetically, because you can't overwhelm yourself with this placement, because it will work to your detriment, or it won't work for your benefit, right? So you kind of have to like take it easy so that you can save your your fuel, I guess I would say. But because you're so healing, you can literally heal like the world on your own, even if you truly wanted to and believed in that. And the thing is, your placement is one of the most genuine placements. You guys genuinely want, to see things like flourish in the world. You guys, although it's not really Aquarius, there's a humanitarian quality here, because it's a higher consciousness, right? So you desire higher consciousness. You desire, because there's also like, what you desire, and so when you desire the things within the 12th house, you kind of lend yourself to be egoless, right? So you are innate, like you're at the fault, you don't entertain ego or have. You have to develop it, right, as you get older. Or, it could manifest a different way where, maybe you have too much ego and now you have to simmer it down. But I do find that this placement is more so the first example I've made, where a lot of the times is, having to take a chill pill because your energy is being too taxed, you're doing too much, you're too giving, you're too available for people and their healing, and sometimes not enough for yourself. So in order to, okay, so you desire to be there for everyone, however, you are human. So although you are more spiritually tapped in, you are human. So my love, you have to take it easy sometimes, and don't feel guilty. Perhaps you feel like you're letting people down, or I could see that being a thing here. Self-sacrificing more than you need to is a big issue here. Okay, so this is a big issue, and you may not like it's nothing for me. However, right, for you think that till at some point you'll start to feel maybe a certain way about the lack of blessings you're attracting with the same information you're giving to others, and seeing that they attract more than you with the same information because of what they believe in within their belief system, and they think they deserve it. Whereas you perhaps you have less ego, so you're not really demanding towards the universe about what you deserve. So it may not manifest as fast as you would like, because maybe you're self-sacrificing to the point that you're overly patient, to the point that you're not really fully desiring what you want to desire. From an energetic standpoint, the frequency is not potent enough to pull it in. So it's okay to be selfish. I know the connotation behind selfish sounds bad, but a lot of people like to use self-full, okay, or full of my, full of love, or loving on yourself, loving on myself, right? However you want to put it, so it doesn't feel selfish, because I think you guys despise that word, and you despise people who are attached to that, and you would never want to embody that because it goes against your morals and what you believe in. So why would you ever embody that? But however, my love, time will go on, and you'll see that things are happening for everyone else but you, perhaps, because it's the 12th house. So it is also the house of karmic lessons. So either you're doing too much or not enough that made you manifest this house and this placement, and it's just a karmic placement, meaning there's some work that needs to be done here, okay? And it's going to be a big challenge because it is the 12th house, so it can go very, very left or right. So it could go really well or really bad and dangerous. You could become, literally, you could feel like a saint, a god to people, or you can feel like the devil, a demon, So, and the thing is, this placement is very much so that sort of choosing. You get to choose in this life. So you got to be cautious about the things you pay attention to, and holding yourself accountable, because although you think no one's looking, you don't want to mold yourself into being a negative soul, or a petty soul, or a soul that wants to take out revenge, because then you got to deal with that karma the next life, and then maybe you don't care about it this life. But imagine all of us did that. What type of world we would leave behind us. There won't be a world at some point to come back to, okay? Like, if we're really thinking big picture and long term, okay? So when you think about it, the biggest humanitarian act that we can do as a world is to be genuine and hold ourselves accountable. Each and every one of us. Because it would make things make sense. It would bring utopia, you know what I mean? And that's what you guys desire. So with that said, use your creativity to ignite the healing that you desire. And if you don't want to be attached to it, finesse or figure out a way. You're pretty crafty here in this house. So figure out a way in which you can do that, Whether it be, whatever it is. It could be anime that you, maybe you do music and you don't want to be in the forefront, so all your videos are animation. And you create a animated caricature of yourself, and maybe no one has to ever see what you look like, right? If that's something you desire, you don't even have to tell no one. Sometimes that's the thing too. You want to go back off ideas with someone else. You don't need to, because no one has the vision that you see in the 12th house, because it's unseen, but you see it. So remember that, okay? Anyway, my loves, my name is Gawd. You're watching Gawd Cafe, and until next time.